microbust, premature bustulation, big time as breaking news hits the internet. But are the baby bulls in for a nasty reach around episode that will leave them crawling waist deep in the waist of other baby bulls? Or is this actually absolutely massively, hugely, ginormously megabit? Right now, the price of Bitcoin is up a massive 1%. And we're going to be talking about why exactly, but more importantly, as Bitcoin, as you, I'm sure, are aware, has been trending downwards for week after week, and especially on some of these even, weekly, monthly charts, looks like we're about to get an even dumpier dump. Is that going to happen? So we're going to be taking a look at that and a few other things as well. So before we really jump and just before we just really dig into these charts, let's take a look at a few things here. So TED Talks Macro talking about FTX specifically. So on September 13th, Delaware Bankruptcy Court officials are set to rule on approving over $3 billion asset sale submitted by the defunct exchange FTX's legal team. This first outlined in August would appoint Mike Novogratz of Galaxy Digital as the investment manager responsible for the sale, and they would be allowed to sell up to $100 million worth of tokens every week, a limit that could be increased to $200 million every week. But it's important to note, for example, the majority of FTX SOL holdings won't be available to sell until 2025, and their total holdings are estimated to be about $2 billion. Okay, so something to understand. Now, with that kind of breaking over the last couple of hours, we see Bitcoin up a little bit. Now, one thing Kevin Svensson pointed out here is the daily RSI. The RSI here for Bitcoin is very big, and the chart explains itself. This could essentially, what he's saying, either be major resistance or be a major breakout. And it really more so points out just a very interesting level we're currently at. And it goes back basically to the beginning of this year. And we see this RSI resistance zone, or this zone play out a couple times already this year. Very big. Now, Bitcoin, before we continue with anything else, it's very obvious. Bitcoin is very overdue for something, right? This has been, I've been in crypto for a decent amount of time now. This has been one of the most boring periods of crypto trading I think I've seen. It's in the top 2 most boring periods I think I've ever experienced. And I've been in the market for like 7 years or something. So, yeah, to be in the top 2 most boring periods of the last 7 years, that's pretty impressive, right? It's so boring. I kind of hate this. It really isn't fun. But there's something very big I want to talk about in a second. But we see here Deutsche Bank, $800 billion asset manager, Deutsche Bank, partners to offer Bitcoin custody for institutions. They can now hold crypto directly for their clients. And in the last 48 hours, we've seen 2 major companies announce Web3 integration onboarding, probably around 1 billion customers that this involves. But the market has not responded. So first, Circle partnered with Grab, which is a Southeast Asian super app. Biggest technology startup in the region, has about 200 million users on Grab, and it's used for everything from travel, food, delivery, shopping. But then also Telegram, with over 800 million users, also adds self-custodial crypto wallets worldwide, excluding the US. So pretty much everywhere except the US. But the Messenger is evolving into some sort of super app as well, basically. Kind of similar to WeChat in the terms of everything app. So very big. So those are things happening here. We see with Deutsche Bank. Basically, if you look at the fundamentals, the adoption is growing every single day. Everything is good in that sense. We have little Sam and little FTX, obviously ruining the markets as usual. But I mean, they have like $2 billion to sell? Okay. The market has absorbed infinitely more than that. Could it dump at the price in the short term? Absolutely. And I'm still on the side that we will get a dump in the short term here. Even though I'm like mid and long-term bullish on these markets, and I think we're going to go up very, very strongly over the next couple of months, I don't think we are yet. And as I've been saying, I still think we will see a dump first. Now, before we look at Bitcoin's charts, the stock market, the SPX, is actually looking decent today, back above its 50-day moving average, and it's been above its 21-day moving average for quite a bit as well. So the stock market looks decent. We're seeing nice green there. And the DXY also is having a little bit of kind of a retest, trying to reclaim, get above the 105 level concretely, which it currently is at this moment. Now, if we look at Bitcoin's chart, this line, exactly around 25,000, has been big support for Bitcoin so far. We have not really, we've dipped a little bit below it, but we have not actually had any major closes below 25,000. And 25,000 is showing as big support so far. Now, as I said, I personally think we'll go below it, but I'm kind of surprised we haven't yet. And two, if we don't, I mean, there's a big reason for that. It is a very big level of support. If we go to the weekly chart for Bitcoin, obviously right around 24 and 25 is right where that 50-week moving average is. It's very big. Currently, we're below the 200-week, which is about 28,000, depending on when you're looking at it, if it's tomorrow or the next day. But as of today, this is our very first bust back above this key 21-day moving average. This will be interesting if we can actually hold above this, because we have gotten rejected here since we fell below it over a month ago, right? Big dump below it. Now, if we can actually get above this, right, we had one or two daily candles that squeaked above it for a little bit and immediately got pushed back down. Now, we had a daily close above it yesterday, and today we're getting a nice, even bigger move above it. So this could turn into a short-term move to the upside, but I'm absolutely not convinced at all yet. It definitely needs at least a couple daily closes above 26,000 bare minimum, right? Which currently it is, but ultimately, I still think there's a very good chance we still have a short-term move that brings us down instead of up. So yeah, let's look at a few other charts for Bitcoin here. Realistically, though, when you're looking on these macro charts, we actually have not broken any very big supports. So if you really want to be bullish in the short term, there's definitely a case for that. I'm just not convinced of that yet in being bullish short term, but there definitely can be. You definitely have a case to be made because, for one, I mean, looking at this chart's obvious. Massive support right here. It's right around 25,000. It's a little under 25,000. And so far, we've just been holding that. So, I mean, I want to bring your attention to this. Like, this chart goes all the way back to, the last couple of years. Here we have this area right here where we faced massive resistance here, right? We fell below it. Resistance, rejection, resistance. Ultimately, then we did get above it at the beginning of 2023. We found support here back in June, and we're finding support so far here also now. So if this does happen, and this ends up being a very simple resistance to support flip, where we have resistance at first, and then it becomes support, and after this, we just, okay, we have support and we head up, that's also not a very shocking, I would say that's honestly the least shocking thing that could happen. Even though I feel like so many people are bearish, I guess it would be shocking to them if people are expecting 10K still and stuff like that, then yes, that'd be shocking to them. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it would be like the most obvious, almost too easy type thing to happen, where it could just be as simple as we had two levels, we got rejected, then we finally broke above it, and then we held it twice, and then that was support, and we went up after that. Could be the case. Again, like I said, I'm not convinced of that at this point, but we do have to understand that 25,000 is still holding, and this chart illustrates that, like the two giant levels really well. We're trading between 25 and 30, and in my opinion, anything between 25 and 30,000 US dollars for Bitcoin is one, super boring, and two, super insignificant. So that's why I say I'm bored with this market, because for the past 6 months, we have been in that same exact range, right? We've had a little itsy bitsy pump here and there and a little itsy bitsy dump here and there, but we've done nothing for the past 6 months. We've been in this exact same range. So really, I guess I take more even the stance of being neutral, because we're not very bullish, we're not very bearish. I still believe if you zoom out where we are is that transition from bear to bull. And it will get extremely bullish, but the big question is when. And I just don't necessarily think it's going to be very soon. I think it's going to be at least a couple months away before we actually start getting very bullish. But that the bigger point is that I do believe we will be getting very bullish, just not yet. And with that being said, again, after we broke this uptrending level of support, we broke it back in August. Bitcoin's just been dangling right around 25. Pretty underwhelming price action, honestly. We had this death cross. Okay, it'll be really interesting to see if the stock market can continue to go up here, because that'll give Bitcoin a lot of strength, in my opinion. But more importantly, if Bitcoin can hold above this daily moving average for at least until the weekend. I think that could be very big. And take advantage of massive sign up and deposit bonuses with Phoenix and BitGet below. It takes 30 seconds to sign up. If you sign up and create an account with my link below, you can also earn free XPT when you trade anything using my link to Phoenix below. Without further ado, that's it for me.